To Geneva and speak to Ravina Shamdasani, who is a spokesperson for the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. Welcome to the programme. We've just been speaking there to our correspondent in Gaza, saying, he said on day 108, just devastating, one of the worst days he's seen so far. And recently, Ravina, your office released the report by Ajit Sunghai, the head of the UN Human Rights Office of the occupied Palestinian territory, about what he saw on the ground during his visit there to Gaza. How does that report by Ajit compare to anything your office has seen or heard with regards to human rights?
The situation is catastrophic. What our head of office, Ajit Sunghai, witnessed was that people are still coming in droves, hundreds of people still coming into Rafah from the north. The situation is very unsanitary. Many of the facilities that they live in are honestly unlivable. You have tents that have been set up using just plastic bags, and children and men who are pulling bricks from the road in order to use them to hold the tents down. The situation is really worrying. Humanitarian aid is not enough. And of course, there's a lot of distress, given that people are in such need. There is building anger and frustration. And as your correspondent pointed out, the bombing continues. Ajit, who was in Rafah in Gaza, could see from where he was the plumes of smoke that were rising from the bombs falling. He could hear at night the bombs falling. He could sense and feel and share the anxiety and the fear with which the children, women, and men of Gaza live daily. So the situation is really beyond imagination.
Absolutely. And Ravina, I just want you to bear with us for 1 second. I want to give our viewers an example of what Ajit saw when he was there, and because this is very difficult reading, it's very difficult to hear some of these details. So just let's listen to what he said.
During my time here, I managed to meet a number of released detainees. These are men who were detained by the Israeli security forces in unknown locations for between 30 to 55 days. They described being beaten, humiliated, subjected to ill treatment, and to what may amount to torture. They reported being blindfolded for long periods, some of them for several consecutive days. One man said he had access to a shower only once during his 55 days in detention. There are reports of men who were subsequently released, but only in diapers, without any adequate clothing in this cold weather.
All right, incredible what Ajit saw there. Ravina, I just want to get your take on where does everything that's happening in Gaza, also what Ajit just discussed there about seeing men coming out in diapers, one not having access to a shower for many days, everything that's happening right now. Even Nizar mentioned there that a mass grave was found in a hospital. Of course, that has to be another opinion on that, but just everything that is in the report from Ajit. Is that a war crime? Is that genocide? How do you classify this report in your hands right now?
So what Ajit and our office have documented is humiliating ill treatment of detainees. What appears to be happening is that large numbers of men mostly, but some women as well, are being detained arbitrarily. They then disappear. It's not clear what their whereabouts are. Their families are not informed that they were taken. So there's a real, again, anxiety that's created. Are my loved ones still alive or dead? Have they been arrested? Have they been taken into a detention facility, or will they be released? Some are then subsequently released, but in these very degrading, humiliating circumstances. International humanitarian law is very clear that Israel can detain people if it has a legitimate imminent security concern, but not in this manner, not arbitrarily arresting large numbers of people and then treating them in these degrading circumstances. We have reports of deprivation of food. We have reports that they were subjected to extreme cold, that they were blindfolded, as Ajit said, for days at a time, denied access to showers, denied the permission to pray even. This is not acceptable. We have documented a lot of issues in Gaza since October the 7th, which may amount to war crimes. We've documented the collective punishment of people on the ground. There were also, of course, war crimes committed by Hamas and other Palestinian armed groups in Israel, and the firing of indiscriminate weapons into Israel. But this in no way justifies what has been done by Israel as a reaction to that.
Okay, so some of what Israel has done may amount to war crimes, is what you're saying. What happens next? Does this report go possibly to back South Africa's mission there, the case with the International Court of Justice, because it is very powerful reporting, very powerful personal accounts there?
It's very important that we continue our reporting. Now, unfortunately, we do not have access to Israel and to the OPT generally, to the occupied Palestinian territory. This was really an exceptional case in which our head of office was able to go in for a few days. Other than that, when we request access to monitor human rights violations, we don't receive a response. We do continue monitoring remotely, and everything that we document, I mean, it's important that we publicize it so the world knows what's going on, so the parties are put at notice that we are observing these and we are documenting them. Beyond that, how this material is used is open. If a competent court requests this material from us, for example, if the International Criminal Court in the course of its investigations requests this material from us, we will share it. The International Court of Justice has also drawn on some of the material that our office has put out in considering the very important case that's before it today.
Ravina Shamdasani, spokesperson for the Office of the UN Human Rights Commissioner, thank you very much indeed for speaking to us at TRT World today. Thank you. Appreciate it.